What's up guys, welcome to Voicey here. This is your host, Captain Zach, and today's subreddit is r/IDontWorkHereLady, as well as a couple stories from r/Today I Fudged Up. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode. This story's called Karen Messes with Almost USMA Cadet, Big Mistake. This happened last night, and apologies for the length. Here's the cast. There's Hero, me, Karen, entitled shopper determined to ruin Hero's night, Agnes, a sweet old lady. I've been working at a theme park for the last 5 years, and while I love my job and coworkers, I'll be the first to admit that the job has stresses and a fair share of Karen/Kyles. Last night, I had just gotten off an almost 11-hour shift and was exhausted. As my pantry, fridge, cat's food bowl was empty, I decided to go grocery shopping at the store where my younger brother used to work, and was friends with most of the people there. It was an hour or two to closing and the store was almost deserted. Pure bliss for me because I didn't have to fight the snowbirds for what I wanted. I took my time and was wandering the frozen food aisle when I heard a sweet little voice ask me from behind. "Excuse me, dear, but can you please reach the frozen chicken pot pie up there for me?" I turn around and see a little old grandma sitting in an electronic shopping cart and looking at me with wide eyes. Maybe it's because of the 5 years I've worked without much thanks, but I love it whenever someone asks me politely for something. I'm willing to go well out of my way to help them, despite being exhausted and sick of being treated badly. I said with a wide smile, "Of course, ma'am," and reached up for the chicken pot pie. "This one?" "Oh, yes, thank you," she said as I put it in her basket. I noticed that she had a list in her hand and an almost empty basket. "Would you like some help getting anything else on your list?" I said, feeling my bad mood dissipating faster than chalk on a wet sidewalk. "Oh, that is so kind of you. I'd appreciate it," she said. "Your mama must be so proud of you." I laughed and said, "She raised me right." So, the next 20 minutes or so, I walked with her and helped her with her list. As we walked, we got to know each other. I learned her name was Agnes, she had 3 children, 6 grandchildren, and her first great-grandbaby was on the way. By the time she got to the end of our list, it's safe to say we became good friends. I left her at the registers, knowing that the employees at this grocery store would help her get them to her car. Agnes smiled at me and thanked me once again. Now feeling much better, I decided to finish the rest of my shopping. I decided to make my way to the deli for the best chicken salad. I love me a good chicken salad sandwich. While I looked over the packaged salad to see which had the most craisins/raisins, I heard it. A cleared throat. The war call of the wild Karen. Not wanting to let her destroy my good mood, I turned to look and was face to face with a Kate Gosselin haircut, plastic surgery addicted trophy wife body, business intimidation outfit, and cold Cersei Lannister eyes. I smiled at her. "May I help you?" "Yes, finally," she said with an exasperated sigh and shoved a list into my face. "I need you to get me apples, milk, and—" I cut her off mid-sentence, confused. I don't know how you mistook me for an employee here," I said, gesturing to my uniform. "Blue shorts, button-up shirts, and a lack of name tag and apron. But I can point you in the right direction?" This did not satisfy the wild beast known as Karen. She stomped her imitation Louis Vuitton black heels like a bull pawing the earth. "You help that little old lady. What makes her different?" At this point, my temper was flaring, but I was trying to keep her from destroying the good mood I had for helping Agnes. Maybe it's because she used her manners and asked nicely for help. I said in a sweet and innocent tone. I swear I saw Karen's eyes narrow and she tried to draw herself up to my height. Laughable because she had to be at least 5 feet and 2 inches and I'm almost 6 feet. She was standing on her tiptoes, wobbling as she did so. And then she did it. She poked me square in the chest. What Karen did not know about me is that when I was in high school, I was considered for an appointment at the United States Military Academy, West Point. Thanks to a heart murmur and other health issues, I decided not to seek said appointment. However, I've carried that distinct honor with no small amount of pride, and have always tried to carry myself as such. Even my managers know that and respect me for it. You do not mess with me or someone I've taken under my wing, especially when I'm in a bad mood. I grabbed Karen's wrist with the speed of a striking rattlesnake and gripped it hard enough to keep her from wriggling. I stared her down and spoke in a low voice, becoming the army officer that I might have been. "Ma'am, we can do this one of two ways. You can leave me alone to continue shopping the rest of the night, or I will call the police and press charges. Is that clear?" Karen went from outraged bull to meek little calf. She nodded. "Have a good night," I said and let go to continue my shopping. 10 minutes or so later, I had finished my shopping and was pushing my cart over to my car when I saw Karen slink by with an almost empty cart. We made eye contact. I waved nicely at her. I did not know that you could run so fast in heels before. I don't know why, but I'm getting like minor stolen valor vibes. I know they're not claiming to have been military, but they're like, I was almost in West Point. But yeah, good on her for helping the old lady, and might I say, fantastic job intimidating that evil, wretched Karen. We could definitely use your would-be military expertise in the Anti-Karen Task Force. Secretary of Defense Bacon Cat, what do you think? This story's called, How Dare You Not Serve Me, You Maid? This happened when I was 12. We were invited to attend a Chinese wedding dinner by one of our distant relatives in a neighboring country. Most of those relatives have never seen me before. We were in the ballroom of this fancy Chinese restaurant, and I was seated at a ballroom table. Because there was not enough space for my family to sit at just one table, I volunteered to sit at another table with my little sister with a group of old ladies and cousins. We began feasting on the duck, abalones, crabs, and all of the standard fare of an 8-course wedding dinner. I noticed that one of those particularly unfriendly-looking old ladies was frowning at me and seemed increasingly annoyed for whatever reason. Out of the blue, she pointed at me and said in broken English, "You go to the outside over there and give me 1 cup water." Why broken English when she had been speaking in fluent English to her son, or grandson, next to her just a few seconds prior? I was also dumbfounded by the sudden command, seeing that there were so many waitresses around. "But hurry up!" she screeched. Now, I was somewhat dark-skinned for a Chinese girl, and I was quite tall and lanky for my age. My sister, on the other hand, was fair-skinned and baby-faced. Hence, I probably looked like one of those live-in domestic helpers taking care of a young child. Being only 12, I raised my hand, took her glass, and asked a waitress if she could get more water. She then said, in Mandarin, "Maids nowadays are so rude. Don't they know that they're supposed to be doing their jobs, not sit here eating?" She turned to the table where my immediate family was and asked aloud, "Whose maid is this? Yours?" I slammed my chopsticks down, word by word. I spat out, in crisp and clear Mandarin, "I am not a maid." You could see the color drain from her face as everyone turned to stare at her in silent admonishment. She spent the rest of the dinner staring down into her lap and eating unnaturally quiet. Okay, wow, what a jerk. Alright, what is with everyone and being so classist in Asia? Like, in my personal experience and every freaking story, they're always such they're so classist, you know? The older people, younger people not so much at all really, but really the big grown-up folk, really? Also, I'm not racist, I'm talking about my own peeps here, don't get it twisted, yo. This story's called, Today I Fudged Up by Getting Drunk and Saying Something I Shouldn't Have. Obligatory, this happened a few years ago when I was in college. So I got reminded of this story by a friend last weekend when I was getting drunk with him. Then forgot it because alcohol. Then saw a Snapchat memory of said girl I said things to, and here we are. So this was my second year of college. My first year I wasn't as social because I'm an introvert. But I also wanted to get used to the academic rigor and living/doing everything on my own, so I knew people, but maybe hung out with like 5 close people I really liked. Now to the actual story. This is kind of long, so please bear with me. On the first day of classes, I met this one guy and we just instantly clicked. Similar interests, upbringing, and we made fun of the same people too. It was the perfect start to something beautiful. As time goes on, we hang out like almost every single day. I would go over to his place all the time because he lived in a super huge house with cool booty roommates. After about 2 months of hanging out and getting to know his roommates, he decides to throw a small kickback after our first round of midterms. So I get to his place a little early because he asked me to, and I see his car isn't there. I call him and he tells me he'll be back in an hour or so because something came up, which means the hanky-panky, and to go inside because his roommates already started pre-gaming. I go inside and bring in a bottle of Slurricane. It's a mixed cocktail that was new at the time and was hard to get. His roommates were really excited to try it. So we do, and it tastes great. But one roommate got the great idea of making it stronger, so he brings his vodka. Now, this vodka is like some freaking no-name BS vodka that tastes worse than rubbing alcohol and burns your insides with the heat of 1,000 suns. But at this point, who gives a crap, right? We're already drinking, so it doesn't matter. Now, it is important to know that I was new to drinking. I just started when I met said friend, and I didn't know things like you shouldn't mix clears and darks and things like that. But I start knocking back drinks like it's water, cause mama ain't raised no bench. Plus, peer pressure sucks, and I can hang, right? I can't hang, so F up number 1. Finally, my friend finally shows up after 2 hours and starts to catch up with us, since he's not on the same level. People start to slowly show up, and roommate B finally comes downstairs and she says the girls she invited aren't coming. Now, it is even more important to note that the whole point of this kickback was for me and the girl of my dreams to finally hang out. Since alcohol is the best social lubricant, it would make it easier for my friend and roommate B, who invited the girls, to wingman the frick out of me. Shout out to my friend who threw a party so I could get a girl. For some background information, since I would be at this house almost every day, there were a few times where roommate B would be in the living room with her friends, and the girl of my dreams and I would be either waiting for my friend to come downstairs or whatever. So I met her like 3 times in passing and just had the basic small talk. Now, this girl, at that moment in my life, was the most beautiful girl I had ever laid eyes on. She truly was the girl of my dreams. It was love at first sight. I became obsessed with her, but not like in a creepy way. It was my mission to do whatever it took to get her to go out with me and possibly marry her. Now, back to the story. So, finding out that she wasn't coming made me sad as frick. So, it was only natural that I drank even more. Flip up number 2. An hour or so passes, I've taken a few shots and even more drinks, and guess who the heck shows up? Well, if you guessed the pizza delivery guy, you're right. We got hungry as heck and everyone got a slice. But then the doorbell rings again like a minute later, and guess who it is this time? If you guessed the pizza delivery guy because you forgot the peppers and cheese, you're wrong. He gave them to us the first time. It was the girl of my dreams and another girl. I was happy as hell, but wasted as heck. I hadn't been drinking water the whole night and the pizza barely did anything. So now we're hanging out, talking, and just vibing. Probably 15 minutes pass, and all of a sudden, I just run upstairs and start throwing up in my best friend at the time, the toilet. My best friend runs up the stairs after me to see what I was doing and starts taking care of me. I got some throw up on my pants, but then I finally got everything out, and I am leaning against the wall outside the bathroom. My best friend is asking if I'm okay and all that stuff. I'm just like, yeah, I'm fine, dude. Did girl of my dreams see anything, dude? I can't mess that up. As I say this, roommate B is walking upstairs to see if I'm okay, and right behind her is the girl of my dreams and her friend. It was at this moment, everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. Get it? Yeah, I'm lame, I know, but it's okay. My best friend is talking to me and I say, dude, girl of my dreams can't see me like this. I freaking love her, dude. I'm gonna marry her because I love her. She's the one. And a whole bunch of other crap that I can't remember because alcohol. As I'm saying this, I'm pointing at her and looking directly into her eyes and soul. Major F up number 3. After that, I don't remember anything except waking up in my best friend's bed with my clothes washed and in his PJs. I go downstairs in my fresh-smelling clothes at like 6 a.m. My best friend is down there and takes me to Denny's and tells me what I did. After that, I ran into her a few times in the house and campus, and it was the most awkward thing you could ever imagine. Aww, poor dude. See, that's why if you're worried about how you look in front of people, don't get drunk unless they're getting drunk. Because, if they're drunk too, then your behavior is understandable. You gotta be in the same mindset, But if you're drunk and the person you care about looking cool in front of is not drunk, you look like an idiot and this happens. But you could have recovered from it, if you saw her and you just laugh about it and be like, yeah, I thought you were really hot at the time and and you say stupid things when you're drunk. I'm sure she would have been understanding, but you had to make it awkward by thinking it was awkward. This story's called, Today I Messed Up by Switching the Keyboard Keys at My Work. Mandatory not today, but several years ago. I have to say I still cringe when I think about it though. Here's the story. When I was in high school, I had a part-time job in a renovation center. I was a clerk helping clients find what they needed for their homes. The computers at our renovation center help desk were running a super old DOS software that absolutely had to be closed at the end of the day. To close the program, you had to press E twice, triggering the "Are you sure? Press E again" type thing. On a lazy day, out of boredom, I switched the keyboard keys E and A on all of the 3 computers at the help desk, thinking it would be a funny joke to make, and left when my day shift was done and evening shift started. I wasn't working for like 2 to 3 days after that. Next working day, right upon arrival, I got called into the boss's office. At that point, I had completely forgotten about the whole thing, and since it was close to the yearly review, I thought my boss wanted to talk to me about my raise or something. I was wrong. He was in his office with the owner and told me to sit down. He started telling what had happened. His face quickly became violet from the anger. Apparently, the 3 employees on that evening shift spent an hour trying to troubleshoot the issue. Unable to solve their issue and getting quite upset to work more hours than they were supposed to, they called the manager, who then called the IT department to try and solve the problem over the phone. Obviously, nothing was working because they were 50+ years old clerks and couldn't figure out why that when they pressed the E key on any of the computers, they were not responding. They thought the whole thing was working fine, but that something was blocking them from exiting. Somehow, the IT team came to the conclusion that there was something wrong with the mainframe computer and rebooted the freaking thing. Since it was well past closing time, they hadn't realized that the mainframe computer was doing its daily backups. The reboot created a fatal error that corrupted some important stuff like the sales and inventory of the day. The system was down, and the IT team apparently worked the whole night trying to fix the issue. As for the renovation center clerks, they were extremely annoyed. My boss and even higher management were so upset that they requested my manager to watch the security camera recordings of the day to see who was the moron that had done it. I imagine that after some time, they saw my dumb bootiery unfold. I can only imagine that this took several hours of video watching. This cost thousands of dollars since they had to pay overtime and pay to fix the sales numbers and recheck the inventory and stuff. I came in for my shift and ended up giving my name tag and shirt and was told not to add them in my references. I never stepped foot in that store again. Even now, 12 years later, when I have to buy things for the house, I drive much further away to another store to get what I need. Yeah, I messed up doing something that, in my mind, was just a little joke. Oh boy, that must have been terrifying. Oh no, he just switched some keyboard key. Oh god, no. Oh, that's quite the butterfly effect right there. Oh boy. Oh, okay man, just don't do that again. Also, that's kind of weird that they still use MS-DOS in stores. I know it's because, it's really simple and you can't really screw around and all that, but geez, that's like really old software. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.